Hey listeners, this is Cameron from Rocket Punch. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to check out our content. We really appreciate your interest in what we create. If you're still looking for more Rocket Punch craziness, then consider supporting our efforts on Patreon. With Patreon, you can donate as little as $1 a month and help us continue to make this content for you each and every day. Along with that donation, you also get exclusive Rocket Punch content available only to our patrons, such as bonus episodes of the Rocket Punch cast, exclusive physical items, and more, depending on what you're able to support. So check out patreon.com/rocketpunch to see how you can help us today. But if you can't support us on Patreon, then sit back and enjoy the fun and informative content we offer at no cost, brought directly to you. Because let's be real, you consuming our content helps us either way. So thank you once again for your continued support and enjoy the show. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Rocket Punch cast. This is episode 57, where, of course, we always talk about video games into microphones. Tonight, I'll be your host, Cameron. We have banished Seth to the Shadow Zone, the Shadow Realm. Yeah.
There you go.
We sent him over there. He's no longer here anymore, at least for this week.
Shane looks to have him in his group of souls. So
there you go. Yeah, he will be reincarnated as either a Blue Eyes White Dragon for Kaiba,
nice,
or a Pot of Greed.
My deck has no pathetic cards.
Let's go with Pot of Greed.
Pot of Greed,
because that card's banned in tournament play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's freaking silly. Of course, I'm joined by Chaz.
I'm back.
Yay! Chaz is back. Will.
Yo, what's happening?
And you haven't heard him yet. A very special guest this week, because we banished Seth over to the Shadow Realm. We pulled in a special guest this week. This is Chris. Say hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, good job. That's
See what I did there? See
the
that?
common thing to do.
That's how that works.
Chris actually runs his own YouTube kind of video streaming channel right here locally. So of course we had to like, oh, come on down, jump on the podcast with us. It's Credible Threat Gaming. Not in too much detail, but Chris, tell us about Credible Threat.
Well, I mean, clearly we do gaming. Pretty obvious if you couldn't tell from the name. And in a credible, threatening way.
I like that.
I just feel threatened.
The name is more satirical than anything. Should you ever see us, we are neither credible nor threatening in any way, shape, or form, unless you get threatened by the amount of body counts that you're gonna rack up taking us down in Overwatch. But no, we do what we can. We've been streaming here for a little while. Do a lot of streams, trying to break outside the box and do more canned videos, but I don't know if we have the skills for that, the chops necessary for that just yet.
You never know. You build up to it, of course, most definitely. But no, it's great to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me.
And most definitely, I think you have a Facebook group, or
we have a Facebook group. It's facebook.com/credibleThreatGaming. We also have a Twitter @RealCTGaming. Okay. You can follow us on Twitter there. Twitter's more for your random craziness, and Facebook's like more legitimate, professional. I should be wearing a suit and tie kind of thing for Facebook.
Okay. Very pomp and circumstance there.
Yeah.
What was the last game you guys played?
Well, we recently picked up Ghost Recon Wildlands. We do a stream on Thursday nights called Tetrad Thursday, where myself and 3 friends get together every Thursday and try and do some 4-player co-op games. Sometimes they're competitive, sometimes they're not. But we try to do that because, I feel like a lot of games sometimes get a raw deal when it comes to review scores because, if you're playing with 3 of your best friends, it's kind of hard to have a bad time. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
that's true.
We just go out of our way to have a good time on Thursday nights, get together, do some 4-player stuff. Our Gauntlet stream is really good. Had a lot of fun with Gauntlet.
Oh,
there you go.
And then we did some really great Rocket League a few weeks ago. That was a lot of fun.
Still got to play that game. I've not played that yet. Yeah, I feel
Yes,
really bad.
you absolutely have to play that game.
Really, really bad.
It's like Lucio Ball, only with cars.
Pretty much.
There you go.
That's the best way to describe it.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Lucio Ball's pretty cool too.
It was pretty nice.
Well, I can't play Rocket League because I've been too busy playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh,
Let me talk about this game real quick.
Tell us about the Space Hokage.
That game keeps getting better and better. I'm probably 10 hours in, and I haven't. I'm still trying to get to the first big city.
Okay.
In the game, I've been going through just doing side quests. I found the hunting lodge, the hunting challenge. I don't know for people who have it at the table. I got the Blazing Suns and all of those, which wasn't too hard. Well, the first one was really hard. I think it was you had to take the canisters off of grazers, and you had to take 10 of them off within a minute and a half. The one with the logs was super easy. I funneled them into a trail and just dropped the logs on them, and it was, oh nope, 30 seconds, we're done. Cool. But the game continues to get better. I mean, even 10 hours in, and I really don't feel like I'm anywhere near even a quarter of the way through this game.
You're not.
You're not.
Well, it almost seems like you're actively avoiding the largest cities, though.
Well, I've been slowly going up, but what'll happen is especially for games like open world, I tend to be somewhat of a completionist, and so when I see the green little exclamation point saying, "Hey, there's a side quest," I'm going over there to check out the side quest. And a couple of the side quests actually have I think I've scanned this entire area, and they're like, no, go up these snow mountains over on the side. I'm like, wait, I didn't even know that area was there. And a lot of quests that send you back, and then I go over there, and then there's more side quests that take you everywhere else. And so this is very much, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's super fun. Again, as I said, I think in last week's episode, if you are a PlayStation 4 owner and you have a Pulse, purchase this game. 100%. It's, for me, highly recommended. I can't speak.
I will agree.
There you go.
I want to know what has been your favorite moment so far. What is your favorite story? Sliding into a dinosaur, or what is your favorite moment from the game?
Favorite moment right now. I'm following the story arc where, spoilers for Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess, you have to find one of the war chief, Sona. You have to go on the track to find her, and that was actually one of the first areas where we actually had to fight against real people.
Gotcha.
And the corrupted animals that are over there. And I'm on the last part of that where there's the big camp.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you have to go way up north on the map to try and find it and kill all those enemies. So that was really fun. The cutscenes are great. The story was engaging. And all the quests feel when you boil them down to a game mechanic standpoint, they tend to be the same. Go here, do some stuff, go here, do some stuff. But the way the story's wrapped around it feels really good.
Have you been in a cauldron yet?
I just got the quest for a cauldron, and I was gonna head there, and then it was 2:00 in the morning, and I had to go sleep.
Good, because arm up. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay.
You should get a lot of weapons before going into one of those.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Lots of stuff.
And things.
Stuff and junk.
I was playing Horizon for a while and was having some fun with that. I got to the part where you are right now, where it was you need to go and find the war chief and figure out where she is. And I got to the camp where she was, and then she's telling me, hey, if you want to really do some really cool things for us, you got to do this quest. And I was like, fine, whatever. But then I looked up and I realized it was midnight. And then at midnight, I realized that Breath of the Wild came out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put this game down, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up Zelda. And so I've been playing that ever since.
Now, we haven't had we've talked about Zelda en masse. I know myself, Will, and Seth last week, and that was particularly for the Switch.
Right.
You had it on the Wii U.
I do have it on the Wii U.
What are your thoughts and impressions so far for the Wii U version?
I'm glad I saved myself $300. Okay. No, but the Wii U version has its disadvantages. One, being that the frame rate it goes into the teens at some point. There is a particular area in the game in which the frame rate looks as though you're watching a slideshow.
Wow.
Other than that, it's been really good. The game has exceeded all of my expectations in terms of an open world Zelda game. But I shouldn't really be surprised because I like Zelda 1. So, as soon as Zelda 1 opens and they say, go, they don't even give you anything. They say, here's a shield. Beat the game with just a shield and see, how awesome you are. Good luck.
You were like, it was really cool. You were telling me about some of the Easter eggs with the maps and stuff, and the divine beasts in the game.
Yeah. One of the things, and this is spoilers for people who are playing through it right now, if you haven't gotten there. But after you complete the tutorial area and head towards the village, you learn about these divine beasts that help you defeat Ganon. Each of these divine beasts are representative of different animals. I won't go into specific ones of what they do, but the animals look very familiar to me. And so if you are familiar with the Zelda 1 maps, a lot of them look like those things. So it was actually pretty nice to have a nod towards Zelda 1 and be like, oh, okay, so that's what that dungeon looks like. Awesome.
I think this game is a bit more than just a nod. I mean, literally,
this thing's full on
the alpha was built in 8-bit.
Yes. Oh,
That's
you heard
true.
about that too? Yes. Yes. So yeah, they built Breath of the Wild in the NES style, and they said this is our prototype. Started. And I'm like, oh, yeah, release that. Nintendo needs to
I was gonna say that would have been cool. If that would have been like a special edition, download.
Play all of Breath of the
Absolutely.
Wild in 8-bit would have been nice.
I don't.
Yeah.
It still bothers me a little bit that they basically crippled the Wii U because the tablet has no functionality in this game.
From what the research has shown is that it did have a lot of functionality before they ported it to Wii U. To the Switch. And as soon as they went, okay, we're going to put it in the Switch, then the problem came in. Well, how could you put it in? Have the tablet inventory management if the tablet's docked?
It was a business decision.
Yeah, it was pretty much like, well,
take all this and throw it away.
Yeah, throw it away. And that sucked. But for the most part, I've enjoyed the Wii U version, and I don't know how much I can say about it too much. There's a whole bunch of stuff to discover in there.
There
whole bunch of stuff.
We don't want to say too much because
we
we do have Chris, who is playing through it and hasn't gotten through a lot.
I haven't played hardly anything.
What has your experience been with Zelda for the Switch? Just the game in general.
Well, nifty thing about my perspective is really I haven't put a solid amount of time into a Zelda since Link to the Past. You know what I mean? Okay. So, I did not have most of the Nintendo consoles in between. I did have a Wii because I think everyone on the planet had a Wii. If you were any kind of gamer at all, somehow you ended up with a Wii.
It's like a bread maker.
They were giving them away with a value meal at McDonald's. I don't know what was going on. So I did have a Wii, and I had Twilight Princess, but it always felt constricted to me. I don't know what it was, but every time I played the game, it just felt like the minute I was in the world, it felt like everything was walled off. Like I could see the barriers and know that I couldn't go that way, and I could only go X far this way, and it was just like, and it's weird because I'm not an open world guy, but just something about having that many barriers and a lot of muddy textures, I just couldn't do it, and that persisted. I had a 3DS. I got Ocarina of Time. Most people say it's one of the greatest things of all time. There's a lot of debate back and forth, Link to the Past between.
There should be no debate.
Yeah,
it's one of the greatest games of all time.
Well, I couldn't get into it. It's just me, but I just could not do it. And when I saw for the first time how they were doing Breath of the Wild, I was totally engaged. I was absolutely like, this is the first time that I'm looking around and I'm not seeing the muddy textures and I'm not seeing the blatant walls where I'm limited as far as what directions I'm allowed to go. I have everything at my disposal and I can just go and enjoy the game. And I don't know, that freedom I haven't had since Link to the Past, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's fantastic, and it's almost too much. And maybe that's why I haven't put a whole lot of time into the game yet, is because I got to give myself a chance to just sit down and have a whole day where I can just devote.
I have to plan like, okay, today I'm playing Zelda, and tomorrow I'll play Horizon, and
Right.
just flippy flop. Yes, last night was Horizon night, so I played that.
Right.
So I definitely get that.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely loving the game. I need to find the time to sit down and enjoy it even more so than I currently have. But even just the time that I spent on the Great Plateau has been absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what I wanted out of a Zelda game. I'm totally thrilled with it.
Thanks to Will's tip last week, I got Epona.
Oh, right.
Because I do have right there on the top of the Super Smash Link. Amiibo, so I got Epona. Right, I made sure I was right next to her horse registry, so I can go ahead and register her, so I won't lose her. So I've been riding around with her, and I'm just kind of goofing off and doing stuff. But yeah, I know, especially Chaz and Chris, you guys were on last week to give your impressions of Zelda, and so it's good for that game. Sales, talking about Horizon and Breath of the Wild sale. I mean, I think Zelda was the best. Like the highest rated game ever sold by Nintendo ever.
On a console launch, yeah.
Yeah, Horizon was the fastest selling PS4 exclusive ever.
Wow.
Even higher than Uncharted 4.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Oh, wow.
incredible.
Oh, wow. That's, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
no.
Okay.
It's amazing what new IP will do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
I'm really happy to get to see that dev get their due.
Guerrilla Games?
Yeah, after all the
same
kill
here.
zones that I feel like were really out of control, but always got meh scores and just never really sold all that fantastically well, I always felt like they had something in their back pocket. You know what I mean? So it's so good to see them finally be able to come out of the shadows and be like, by the way, we're legit.
Yeah.
Shadowfall looked great. Like that game still, it was a launch game, but it still looks good.
It does. It definitely does.
If you are curious about Shadowfall, you can definitely check out our Rocket Punch Plays episode over on youtube.com/RocketPunchGo. That was fun. I love the game. I think that was a little underrated. I mean, it's a first-person shooter. It doesn't do anything revolutionary, but it is a great one to play.
I just love the stuff you can get away with in that game. Like, oh, hey, by the way, there's 3 guys down, and I'm down. Nope, my owl got my back.
There you go. Oh, that's great. Yeah, the whole, like, your little robot friend comes and, like, revives you when you die, and if you have
like,
health packs. That's really cool.
Clear. All right, let's keep going.
Why can't we have those in real life?
Johnny 5 is alive, y'all.
So, everybody's been talking about games. Will, you got anything to add to this conversation?
Yeah, here's an anime little tidbit for you. Finally finished Mob Psycho 100 after you kept prodding me to watch it.
I'm telling you, if you like anime, go watch Mob Psycho 100. Tell me how it is.
It's a slow starter. It's a slow burn. But once Mob hits 100, it better get out of his way.
About episode 3 or 4, it's one of the two. That's when you're like, "Whoa, here we go."
Is that after or before they go to the all-girls school? I don't remember.
That is after
the all-girls. Okay, so I stopped just when it was probably getting good then.
My favorite is Reagan. He's so
silly. He's so stupid.
Oh, he's stupid, but he's like, no, you shouldn't do this. Like, he's giving him phenomenal advice. It's like, no, you should never attack somebody with your powers, blah, blah, blah.
I think, like, it summed it up best when he was, like, Mob was giving this, like, clandestine advice that he received, and then you find out it's Reagan, and then one of the spirits, Dimple, is like, that sounded really great until I found out it was from Reagan. And it's like, oh, God.
I love that Dimple is a thing in there. Just little green spirit dude just floating around.
For everyone at the table who's not watched it, and for listeners at home, Dimple is like this little green spirit that Mob ends up fighting, and somehow he tags along to... Like, he basically wants to take over Mob and use Mob's psychic powers to take over the world.
But he's so weak by comparison that he can't even enter Mob's house without his permission.
Yeah, it's funny. It's pretty crazy. No, it's if you're into anime, definitely go watch Mob.
I need season 2 to happen already.
It's greenlit. I don't know when it's coming out.
Oh no, I know. They're pulling the American thing. It's like HBO. We'll have it in a couple of years.
It's like the dragons. They're coming.
Oh, they did announce the date for Game of Thrones.
They did. July 16th.
But was it Westworld's follow up is like 2018.
I finished watching Westworld. Holy crap, that show is.
So should I continue watching it? 'Cause,
Yes.
Okay, I watched the first 2 episodes and was like, okay, cool. I understand robots are
Probably
going to take over
the second half is that's a thinker's show. There's a lot of like very strong themes and thought about like consciousness and existence and things like that in that show.
I started watching it with my wife, and then that was a mistake. So
I've been there.
Yeah, and I was like, let's watch the show together. Oh my god, I didn't know this was in there. Well, I guess I'm watching this.
I started watching it with my wife, and then I was just like, she's not coming back. I'm gonna keep powering through.
Trucking through.
It is so crazy how frequently that happens in my house.
Oh man! Now, before we jump into our topics of the show, I think we've got some good ones here. We have to do something that we haven't had a chance to do in a while, and I think it's time to get that done. And it's talk about our Patreon subscribers and our people that are actually helping support us. For people who don't know, you can always go to Patreon. First and foremost, if you want to get all of our content, just go to rocketpunchco.com. All of our videos, audio, everything is going to be right there on the main page. You can't miss it. But if you love our content and you want to help support us, you can swing over to patreon.com/rocketpunch, where you can definitely jump on there. You can donate as little as $1 a month and get a lot of cool little goodies, bonus episodes, bonus videos, material like physical goods, depending on the tier you got out. And what we have, one of the things we offer is at our $5 or higher tier, we actually do some shout outs. So we're going to do some shout outs to some of our patrons that are out there already. Number one, since he's already here, we're going to give a shout out to Chris.
Heyo.
Scott, he's been helping us out on Patreon. We really appreciate that. And I'm glad to have you on the show, talk about Credible Threat. Definitely, like, I get those alerts when the streaming pops up. Like, hey, you're streaming. Like, I got to check it out and see what's going on. So definitely, everybody who's listening, go swing it by Credible Threat Gaming. Find them on YouTube. Find them on Facebook. Give them some love. Check out their content. It's really, really good. Really funny. I'll definitely say that.
We fake it well.
Some of the other shout-outs we have, Steven Sanders. Apparently one of our notes in here, one of our good friends, he's a big Dokkan Battle extraordinaire. So Will is a very good friends with Steven Sanders. We appreciate you being a patron. On our list there. Austin Smith is a patron as well. He's one of the guys, if you actually follow our Creator Spotlight series, he was one of the pair that actually did the After Hours Game Dev Group talk, where basically a kind of group around in this area that does game development, kind of works with other game developers. So we appreciate your support as well. And of course, our last one, which we just recently had a Creator Spotlight for, Julian J. Burton, who helps run Red Crow Comics, which is a really cool, like, basically his publishing company for his own comics that he has, very local here. You can definitely check his stuff out if you Google Red Crow Comics on Facebook. Or we also did a Creator Spotlight with him as well. You can definitely find him in the Creator Spotlight feed. That just went live on our Creator Spotlight feed, so definitely check that out. But again, all those shout outs there, all of our patrons, we really appreciate your guys' support. If you're interested in becoming a patron, again, patreon.com/rocketpunch. Even just $1 a month really helps us out, helps keep the lights on. If we run down on maintenance, got to get a new mic or anything, we use those funds to help support the show as well as Rocket Punch. And also, as we get hopefully get bigger and we get more patrons, we'll start doing stuff like giveaways and other cool things like that we have plans for. So definitely check it out. But if you can't do that, then continue to go to rocketpunchco.com. We got a lot of stuff for free. You can always check out. The Rocket Punch Cast is free. And so the Patreon spiel is over. We're done with that. We appreciate everyone's support. But now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of the Rocket Punch Cast.
Oh, yes.
We're going to talk about the topic of the show. We got 2. This one's going to be interesting because half of the team wasn't here last week to talk about the Switch and its launch and everything. First topic is basically the Switch 1 week later, and I know that since the last episode we had, there was a nice little would you call it a Nintendo Direct? Yeah, it was a Nintendo Direct Nintendo came out and talked about some of the indie titles
Yes.
that they're going to be having on the Switch, calling cutesy enough Nindies.
Oh my god!
As everyone shakes their head, it's Nintendo. They got to do their cute little thing.
Aren't they the same people who went, we want to make a switch in how games are done? Like,
Yeah, man.
Stop that right now.
If that could just stop forever right now. We get it. Switch is a word that frequently comes up in conversation. We get it. We're all thinking it. You don't even have to do it out loud. We all heard the noise in our head when you said the word Switch. There's no need to proceed.
Especially if your console is unlocked and you slide the Joy-Con on, it makes
The
the
little
noise.
software click that you hear. Oh yeah.
Yeah, if they could patch that out, that'd be great.
That's great.
No, I'm about to record that and make it my text alert.
Oh my gosh.
But with the
You're part of the problem.
I know, and I will continue to exacerbate it.
with the Switch, we've now had it for a week, or at least experienced it, touched it, felt it, heard the news and everything surrounding it. Apparently, along with Breath of the Wild, the Switch has been like one of the highest selling consoles. Like, I think I read one report, it was tracking higher than the Wii
Oh, wow.
as far as sales.
Not just for North America, but for Japan and Europe as well.
Yeah, which is basically those are your three main markets. If you saturate those, you're on a good track. So I mean, it honestly, all things right now, it looks like the Switch is here to stay. Unfortunately for the Wii U.
Oh no, good thing. Good thing. Only good things come from this.
But I'm curious what everybody thinks as far as like the Switch 1 week later. How do we feel about the console? Do we think it's got legs to continue, especially with the Nindy showcase? What do we like about the Switch? What do we not like about the Switch? Well, the table is open.
I believe when we discussed the Switch and who was going to be purchasing it a while ago, I have my 5-game rule when it comes to purchasing any particular piece of technology, consoles or whatever. And for me, it was only thing I could see at the moment was Breath of the Wild. And for me, one game for the Switch, especially if I can get it somewhere else, was well, okay, I got to think about financials here. But when they came up with that Nindy showcase and they showed, I'm not talking about the exclusives now, the Stardew Valley multiplayer exclusive coming to that. I'm going, okay, all right, that's two.
I think
that's
it's
two.
right. It's first on Switch. I don't know how long it's going to be on there.
But I mean, we talked about exclusives. It's 2 weeks ago. But that's beside the point. And then there was the War Groove. Seeing that, going oh, you're gonna give me Advanced Wars? Okay, that's three. That's three. We're okay. And then they went Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment. I'm okay, yeah, we're gonna be doing that. And then ukulele. I'm sorry, Banjo Kazooie fanboy over here. So I'm gonna be okay, all right, I'm done. I can do this.
That comes out soon. That's in April.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's coming out soon. And then they just start piling on more Celeste, and then you're sitting there going oh my gosh,
Celeste.
You're sitting there going whoa, you're more from the Towerfall guys. Okay,
Dude.
okay. And then they were oh yeah, you want more Chucklefish games? So we got those. I'm sitting there oh my god, this is so great. So what else? What else was in there? You everyone else has their own different things, but for me, this was okay, I see what they're doing with the Switch. I'm all on board for this. 16-bit games, and I haven't even started talking about Sonic Mania at all. When that comes out,
did they show that?
Sonic Mania? Yeah, it's coming. That. It's coming. So, I am. My wife has also looked at me and says, "Hey, we need to find one." And when we can find one, so when that tax check comes in,
I was gonna say it's still sold out.
It's still
basically
sold out
anywhere. Every once in a while, you'll catch.
it pops up on Target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been through Targets, Best Buys, Walmart.
Oh, GameStop has it for sale for $5.99.
Yeah, you have to get one of their super big bundles.
You have to get their big bundle.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Good. I'm glad I'm rubbing off.
So you have to get their big bundles. And I've almost thought about trying to convince her maybe we should do that, but then at the same time I'm it comes with Has-Been Heroes, and I can't support that.
Oh my gosh!
I can't. Do
I
that.
actually played that.
Yeah.
At the Switch event in Chicago.
I can't.
What a mistake! Nothing against the game, but you cannot pick that up and learn how to play in less than 5 minutes. That's just not going to happen. So thanks for bringing that one along.
No, you're right.
So I know it's not a Switch title, but it is coming to the Wii U, and it's coming soon. There's a game called Booty Diver coming out.
Oh my god! Really?
I'm on Nintendo's website, and I just had to share that with everyone.
Oh my god!
Well, we can have that.
They might as well not even release that.
Along with our booty
I'm not even joking.
No, he is not joking.
He's showing us the picture. Wow.
Wow. It's on their release
I like how
schedule.
they've cutely pushed the O's together.
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah,
So it looks like-
there you go.
right there.
No, it
And
just
the
looks
V
like
is,
two
like,
O's. I don't know
extra
why.
large.
I've had an opportunity to play the Switch, and I do like its form factor. I like the fact that I could take games out on the go with me and everything else like that. For me, and this is just a personal gaming thing for me, I think I would prefer using the Pro controller with it, just because the Joy-Cons are a nice fallback. So in case I'm out on the go and I just want to play some games like right now, nice go fallback on that. But Pro controller I think is solid and pretty good. And here's hoping that the system is modular enough to where if Nintendo wants to put out some higher quality Joy-Cons or something like that, more heavier, sturdier ones, or like solid metal ones, or even GameCube ones for that matter, they could probably do that, and things will be.
Well, I like the Joy-Cons. That's usually my method of play, even on the TV. Just using the Joy-Cons, just have them detached and kind of hold them. I've had a lot of fun with that. I had a conversation on in the Facebook group. If you are local around here, the Video Gamers of Huntsville. I had a guy ask basically a questions like, I don't have a Wii U. I wasn't going to get the Switch, but now that I'm seeing Zelda and I actually got to touch one and use one from my friend and watch it in the wild, I'm really considering getting one. What do you guys think? And I had a big spiel, but one of my big points were that if I didn't have a Wii U, I definitely say that if you do not own a Wii U currently and you want to play Zelda, get the Switch. I think that even if you purchase, and Chris, I was telling you this earlier today, even if you try and buy a Wii U used and try and save yourself like $100 or something, guess what? Breath of the Wild is the last game, probably the last big game that's coming out to the Wii U. You basically could have taken that $200 and put it towards the Switch,
Right.
And gotten the Breath of the Wild as well as preparing yourself for future iterations. But I also and it's no offense to Chaz as well, but because I understand the dichotomy, at least for me,
You're good.
it doesn't make sense to purchase Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, just on the sense that you'll play it just because you have a Wii U and you'll love it, but eventually you're going to have to get a Switch. It doesn't matter, and if you say you don't beat Breath of the Wild on there, then guess what? You're going to buy the Switch later down the road, and you're going to pick up the Zelda again, and guess what? You're going to have to start over again. And I mean, that's to each his own, because I know a big part of that is people don't have $360+ just to drop on a console at launch. And also just, people's fair criticisms about, it doesn't have a lot of games at launch. The software seems somewhat basic. There's no Netflix functionality, other stuff, the virtual console stuff, the save state stuff. I understand that. But at least for me, I never owned the Wii U. That was the one Nintendo console that I missed. So it was a no-brainer for me to get the Switch and pick it up.
I'd like to address something.
Yeah.
Everyone who says there's no games at launch, just in the month of March, we're getting 14 games on this console. Think about that.
We didn't know that to begin with, though. That's
This
the
is
thing.
true.
That was like Nintendo was saying, "Oh, there's going to be Bomberman and Zelda and Skylanders and what else was there?" But we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes.
Right. It's also not up to Nintendo to announce other people's games.
I understood.
So-
But, yeah.
I agree to an extent, but when you have the lack of third-party developers on your console that Nintendo is notorious for, you almost need to take it upon yourself to be like, we have lots of third-party games coming to the Switch.
But that sizzle reel they showed off more than I believe covered it, because I was able to pick out there's a Dragon Ball game. Oh, there's
The one that
Skyrim.
went by at 100 miles an hour and didn't list the names of any of the games.
Son, it's called Pause.
I think one of the big ones is the people's criticism of that is that there weren't like all these original titles. The fact of Shovel Knight, I Am Setsuna, where games like those were coming out, and people just kind of like, oh, I already have that on my PS4 or my Xbox One or my PC, and I've played those already. And if you already own those, and those aren't games that are appealing to you other than Zelda, or maybe even not Zelda, if you're like one of the 12 people that don't like Zelda,
there are those
freakish
people
weirdo.
out there.
No, you're awesome. then you may be sitting there like, oh, there's not enough games. But I have Shovel Knight. I've considered purchasing it on the Switch, but I'm probably not. I've really looked at I Am Setsuna. I've seen Will play it with my eyes.
Really, all you're interested in is being able to play as Butt Crown once again.
Yes, Butt Crown. You had to have been in one of our streams to understand Butt Crown. But as far as the Switch goes, I think the system, and I said this in my spiel on Facebook, that I think the system is good. I think that it's Seth kind of echoed this last week, but still kind of in a beta phase. Like, I love how the menus and everything are simple, but I think this was I think the Switch was released because of Zelda. They wanted to get the Switch out in time with Breath of the Wild, because you think about it, if the Switch came out in the fall, when a lot of people are saying this is when the games are going to come out and all the functionality and the online stuff's going to be explained, then what happens is that people get either Breath of the Wild gets pushed back into the fall. Oh. Yeah.
No.
Or they keep the release date, but then now it's, March 3rd is only for Wii U owners, and Switch owners have to wait until the fall. And so everybody piles on and decides to spend money on a, no offense, dying console.
Right.
To play this game, and they could lose out on potential Switch owners. So, I mean, there's still some functionality I think that needs to go back into it, but I think the system overall has held up well. People are loving it. I mean, I've seen a bunch of, like, my Switch is broken and the screen's garbled up and the desync issues. Number one, you bought a console day one as an early adopter. You should know full well that you're going to maybe run into potential problems. Number two is that maybe just more of a personal thing. I've not had a problem with the Switch as far as like the Joy-Con desyncing problem or anything like that. So
I've had zero issues with mine. I feel the build quality is impeccable. It's solid.
Yeah, I would basically say the same. I've heard a lot, so I don't necessarily think that they're unfounded rumors or anything, but I really haven't had too much of a trouble. But then again, being a streamer and everything, like, I'm literally playing 4 inches away from it docked to my computer so I can stream it. So
I've seen people who have stated that they've had problems with their Switch or the screen is cracked and everything else, and I observe on how they put it. It's one of those classic instances of, you're doing it wrong. And like, I see some people
you're holding it wrong.
Yeah, I see some people when they're trying to put their Switch in their dock, they're sort of like floating it around in there, trying to see if they can get it to fit. I'm sitting there like, that's why your screen's getting scratched up, because you're doing something.
I love that. They move it around. Like, my screen got scratched. I want a refund.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I threw my Switch directly onto asphalt and the screen got scratched. What poor build quality.
And then I see the videos of people trying to remove like the Joy-Con grips from their Switch, forgetting that at the very bottom you have to unlock it first and then try and pull. And so they're sitting there breaking their Joy-Cons, going like, brrr, what's going on?
To be fair though, they do fit in there oddly.
They do
fit in there oddly. Even with the thing unlocked, I was like, ooh.
I found a simple solution to all of this. I bought a Pro Controller.
There you go.
Man,
You go.
I know where you're coming from, Cam, on the using the Joy-Cons, but I can't play with the Joy-Cons. I can't. I have to. It's mostly just for the distance, the stick distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ability to go between, walk and run, for instance, I can't get it. I just can't get it. I am all or nothing on those tiny little things.
You need sticks that go even further beyond.
Yes. Yes, I need beyond sticks.
No, not only that, my other favorite thing is Nintendo actually includes a USB-C to USB-A cable with the Pro Controller.
That's really
when
nice,
you go buy a
no
new
brick though.
You don't need a brick.
I don't like having a brick.
It plugs into the side of the dock.
I know, but if I did play on a big screen, which I don't, I'd be nowhere near my dock. It'd be easy.
Do you have a phone?
I know I have lots of bricks, but you could have just thrown in the brick at $80 or whatever, $70. You could have thrown in the 2-cent brick.
I don't want a 2-cent brick because those cause electrical fires.
Copper wiring. Oh,
Yep.
so good. So good.
No, but on the real, as far as controls, so I have a newer Xbox controller. I have a PS4 Pro and the controller I came with. I actually prefer the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah, it is very
That's a
comfortable.
tall order. Everybody loves that Xbox One controller.
I hate it, actually.
No, okay.
I do love the Xbox One controller. I don't like the digital buttons for the triggers on the Switch controller.
See, I'm okay with digital buttons as long as it's not a racer. But usually with Mario Kart, you hit A to go anyway.
Is that really a racer, though?
Yeah. I mean, you're racing around a circuit, so technically,
kart
yes.
racer.
Fast RMX is a racer, and you hit like the A button to go.
I like analog triggers, and
I love my analog triggers.
I really wish they would just put the GameCube triggers in there and just be done. Because the GameCube triggers were perfect.
Fantastic triggers.
Because when you clicked all the way down, you had a second button, and so you could squeeze the trigger just a little bit and then feel that.
Don't worry,
feedback.
Nintendo's hearing your feedback, and then coming this summer will be the
good.
Nintendo Pro controller.
Oh, they
that
know
is-
what they're
Pro.
doing.
That is $99.99.
They know what they're
Includes
doing.
the analog controllers that everybody wants.
No,
and a map of Hyrule.
Because think of how much easier it would have been to just throw weapons if you could just sort of like hold down the right trigger and then just click in to like throw things. Like that would be so awesome. Or drop shields, or have inventory management. Oh wait, that would have been nice if you had a touchscreen. No, wait, hold on.
I think all your concerns were addressed. It's called pick your console up out of the dock.
All right.
Oh wait, you don't have one.
No, I don't. But I do appreciate I can still play Breath of the Wild from my bedroom because my bedroom is like right above the living room, and so you only need that 60 feet of Wi-Fi distance between the Wii U.
But
So
Chaz,
I can play.
you play it in your car?
I can play it in my car because my car is like 60 feet away from the
when it's
Wii
not
U.
parked in your driveway.
Okay, no, then I just take my Wii U.
Can you
with
play
me.
it at the local restaurant when you're hungry? And you're like, no, I'm gonna.
No,
pull
because
out.
I'm gonna eat. Because I don't play games while I'm eating.
That's because you don't have a Switch.
Chris got you there.
Oh, that hurt.
But to wrap up our first topic, everybody's at least overall attitude is still pretty positive. I think there are definitely some changes and upgrades that need to be made for the Switch. But I think we can all safely agree that Nintendo probably has a hit on their hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for them, and I'm excited to when we get into the fall when Super Mario Odyssey comes out, how that's going to look and what the Nintendo Switch as a console is going to look now. Especially you think about within that time frame, we're going to have E3, so we're going to get another Nintendo Direct, at least one. So we're going to hear more about games that are coming out, and especially from the positive buzz, I'm sure a lot of developers are like, "Oh, we're going to jump on board."
Noticing how easy it seems for some developers to take their mobile iOS games or their Android games and port them over to the ARM processor of the Switch, I think we'll be seeing a lot of those main developers, start bringing over, like things like Monument Valley or things like, even Dokkan Battle maybe. Because
No.
imagine
No.
Dokkan Battle or Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel
No.
Links. Yeah.
Last thing we need is Gameloft to start making games on the Switch.
Oh, but it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
I hope you're wrong on that. That could really tank the system, man.
But
start
look at
bringing
what
up-
it did.
That won't tank the system. That'll just create a small, very bad area of the Nintendo eShop that you don't go down.
I don't know that it's going to be a very
this
small area. Is
So
my
wait,
worry.
This is how the Wii dominated because of the third-party shovelware that was on there. Like, people just tossed in every bowling game and every mini game in that thing because they could.
I will officially refer to that section of the eShop as Diagon Alley.
Well done. Let's take a shift now. I'm sorry, listeners, but we're gonna stop talking about Nintendo.
Oh, come on.
I know everybody's hurt. We're gonna talk about something different. We're gonna talk about the company and the console that really didn't get a lot of love and talking to the last 2 weeks because of Horizon and Zelda, and that's Microsoft. That's Xbox.
That's because their big game release was Netflix, right?
Okay, you saw that picture too.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they're making a new gaming PC?
It's called the Scorpio, probably. Wait till this fall.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Microsoft and all the buzz about Horizon Zero Dawn for Sony and Breath of the Wild for Nintendo. People were basically like, we had a podcast episode we talked about Xbox and some concerns we had a couple of weeks back. There really isn't any big thing coming from Microsoft this month. I mean, we had Halo Wars 2, which that's a RTS game. It depends on who you are.
Very niche.
Yeah, I would agree. But they announced something during that week as well. This is one of the reasons I was like, it's one of the best weeks for gamers in 2017, if not ever. The Xbox Game Pass. And I want to talk about this, and I want to, especially after the podcast episode we had about talking about Microsoft and Xbox, kind of looking at this and what, boiling down Game Pass, and is this a path for success for Microsoft? Is this them kind of trending their perceived, not non-dominance in the industry? Is this like their path to redemption as we get closer to Scorpio reveal? To give a quick rundown for people who do not know about the Xbox Game Pass, this is, I think, a super cool thing. I think it's $9.99 a month. They're going to be offering it, I think, in the summer. It's available to early access people today.
It's available to their...
But basically, they will have over 100 games that are available that you can play. It's almost like Netflix for game consoles. They're not streamed, so you can download them on the console. What else you got?
I actually have 10 confirmed games in front of me, thanks to...
What are some of the games?
So, Fable 3, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Halo 5 Guardians, Lego Batman, Mad Max, Mega Man Legacy Collection, NBA 2K16, Payday 2, Saints Row 4 Reelected, Soul Calibur 2, and Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Yeah. And those are just a few. They've got really big third-party support for this. But it's basically, you pay... This is separate from the Xbox Games with Gold. You pay $10 a month. You'll get access to those games. They will be shifting the games over or so at, when games leave, they'll add new games in there. But you actually download them to your console and play them. You don't have to stream them. And I'm sure there's some type of software that prevents you from trying to hack sort them until somebody hack sort it. But number one, I wanted to, we never got a chance to talk about this last week, but I wanted us to talk about the Game Pass and what we think of it. And also, in Microsoft's grander scheme of things, how this may affect potentially, Microsoft and Xbox and how people are seeing the Xbox right now, which is Xbox One is doing very well. The One S is doing great. It's just compared to the PS4, it's not doing as great. But it is trending better than the 360, so that's nothing to knock it. But what do we think of the Game Pass? What do we think this means for the future of Microsoft and Xbox? Jump on in.
Well, when you're not number one, you are forced to innovate. And I think this is actually going to be better for us in the long run. Honestly, though, I'm not interested by any of the games that they've announced so far.
Yeah, and it's only a couple. They said over 100. There was a lot of echoes with this and PlayStation Now. To some extent, one of the big caveats is that PlayStation Now, you stream the game.
Yes, but PlayStation Now is not current games. It is PS3 and older.
That's also true. Yeah, that's one
so
of the caveats.
There are no current generation games in that at the moment.
Do we think that this will be better than PlayStation Now? Do you think it may fall kind of short like PlayStation Now?
I think, me personally, I think this is not as good as PlayStation Now, and here's my reasoning for that. I do like the fact that it's PS3 games and older when it comes to that, because as a person who looks at PlayStation's current library of games, it is good to have that, hey, I didn't get Final Fantasy 13 for PS3. I can just go ahead and stream that right now. Or, hey, I didn't get Naruto Shippuden for, PlayStation 3. I'll just do that. Or there's some PS2 Hitman games I want to play. Yeah, sure. I'll go and stream those, and you pay one flat.
450 plus games on the
Right,
service right now.
And so you're looking at your list of games and saying, like, at any moment I can have a nostalgia hit of all of my, different things. For Xbox, it just seems as though, hey, we know that you skipped out on Sunset Overdrive. How'd you just like to play that for $10 a month and it'll be okay? And you're like, look, dude, if I wanted to play Sunset Overdrive, I would. I would go out and buy it and or rent it or what have you.
There are some perks. I even forgot about this. If you do have a game on there and you end up wanting to buy it, you'll actually get this exclusive discount for Xbox Game Pass owners. I think it's 20% off of that game digitally. So if you want to purchase that, you can actually go ahead and buy that. I'm curious if that'll stack with like Game with Gold discounts.
No, they've already said it won't.
Okay.
I mean, it's Game with Gold and Xbox Live Gold membership and all that stuff is separate from this whole thing.
Yeah, but you'll get a discount, so that way if the game is taken off and you still wanted to play it or wanted to keep it, you can purchase it and get a nice discount on the game and continue to own it.
I mean, the benefit is for people like my little sister, who's up in Boston. She doesn't have a lot of extra coin, but she can afford something like Netflix. Get this going, she's got an Xbox One. She can play those games and not have to be out all the money that all of us spend on games every week.
Right. That's what it is, really. I think that the audience in this room may not be the audience for this particular setup, because to me, it's a lot like GameFly. I'm not a big GameFly guy. I never really did GameFly.
That's exactly it.
You know what I mean?
I have my own thoughts on GameFly. We'll have to talk off mic about it.
So it's just like, it's one of those things where I saw it and I was like, it seemed like a really cool idea, and I'm glad that it exists. I think it needs to exist, and I'm sure there's a market that makes a lot of sense for it. But it's almost like one of those things where, from my point of view, I don't see the advantages of it. And one thing I really didn't like about it was the fact that you still have to have Xbox Live in order to play the games online.
Oh, yes, you do to play them online, but you don't need it to.
Right. But like, you see Halo 5 on there, and it's like, immediately I think, oh, multiplayer Halo 5, and it's like, not so fast there, pal.
Just play
You
the
still
single
got
player. It's highly revered as one of the best single players of all time.
Mayhaps, but I think most people, when you say Halo, they think multiplayer. You know what I mean? The first thing that comes to mind is, oh, cool, I can play online.
Since Halo 2, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, I'm not a programmer, and I don't know enough about the Xbox Live system to know what kind of strain is currently being put on it, but to me, it seems like the online functionality for the games associated with that should have been included in the price, just so that way you could say, you get a full-fledged version of this game, everything that anybody else would have got, you get access to. You know what I mean?
It would have been cool if one of my critiques on it would have been cool if they had found some like bundled price with Games with Gold. So when you do run into that, you're like, oh, I'll just buy this. It's a little bit more expensive than Games with Gold, but I get access to that, and I get Games with Gold, so I get the 2 free games a month that they offer.
True.
As well as any of the backwards compatible titles that they have. That would have been cool.
Or just roll all the things in together. Just say, well, get rid of Games with Gold and just replace it with this, right? Yeah. And just say, hey, look, you have your Xbox Live account now includes this, membership to where you can download things. And my whole thing is that if they went ahead and just said, hey, all that 360 back compat catalog you can now download, and like the 360 was in my opinion Microsoft's best gaming lineup ever. Like it topped out PS3. Like if I could go back and play, Crackdown 1 again, or if I can go back and play Black was pretty good, even though it was like on PS2, but it was really good on 360. If I could go back and play those games again, that'd be great. Include Xbox One games in there.
Well, I think the big hurdle with that, and as far as like Games with Gold and the Game Pass, is licensing. Yeah. If you're a podcast listener, I would definitely recommend going to listen to the podcast Unlocked.
Right.
From IGN recently, that actually has Phil Spencer on there. He talks a lot about Scorpio, and he does talk about Game Pass. And I know that a lot of they asked him about the licensing that goes into that, and I'm pretty sure as far as combining that with Games with Gold, especially with the third-party support for a lot of the new games and back compat games that are part of the Game Pass service, it's a licensing thing, because they do have to pay those. Pay a little bit of that cash out.
And currently, they're still in negotiation, or even opened up the door for EA because they have their EA. What is it?
Yeah.
EA Play or whatever that thing
EA
is.
Access.
EA Access, right?
Go, yeah.
And so you can't have now EA Access on the same and in EA games not included in this type thing. So now it's like war of services.
And Phil has talked about he would love for EA to jump in on the bandwagon and offer. Yeah,
are they though? Like if EA has the opportunity of either sharing money with Microsoft or taking money for themselves,
that's a conversation that we don't get paid enough to have.
So there is a very simple solution to that. Microsoft can say EA Access is no longer allowed on Xbox Live.
Ooh.
They own the platform. They can easily kick anybody out because they walled garden.
The only place they have EA Access. You can't get it on PC. It's console only. If
Right.
they do that, some people might get upset.
Then it becomes Origin Access.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but
Great.
I'm serious. When you own the platform, you get to control who's allowed on.
That's true, but I don't think Microsoft will do that. My thoughts on the Game Pass, I think it's a great service, especially for people who have not purchased an Xbox One yet. You're looking at Xbox One S, which most of the systems come bundled with a game. You could pick it up for around $250, so you get... Well, I think one of the hurdles would be like, I might hide the Halo 5 Guardians bundle. Just, you don't want to get Guardians and then get Game Pass, and one of the big games they're touting is Guardians. But say if you get like the Halo Wars 2 bundle, I think there's a Forza bundle.
Get Forza Horizons.
There's a bunch of bundles for a lot of, like, there's a Gears of War bundle.
There's a Gears of War
You
bundle.
pick up Gears of War 4 bundle of Xbox One S, and then you pay $9.99, and guess what? If you didn't play the Gears franchise, you'll have access to those 3 games. You can play those before you jump into 4. You'll also get Guardians and stuff like that. So I think that'll be a very complimentary thing for gamers, and maybe even, I don't think they'll do this, but for new owners, put in the box like, hey, you get 30 days for free.
One question. I don't know if this has been answered by them or not, but does this extend to the Xbox app on the PC?
It does.
Oh, then
It does?
Yeah.
I can tell you though, I don't think they're going to let Halo 5 out on the PC side of things.
still though, I mean, if it's between playing Halo 5 and having to pay, Xbox Live on top of that for multiplayer, or like playing a single player Xbox One game on my PC, like say if they include Quantum Break in there, I mean, why?
Depends on Remedy.
Right, like why am I going to then purchase a 360 or an Xbox One?
I think the service will be good. I think people are going to like it a little bit better than PlayStation Now.
Right.
One of the big reasons is
download games.
You can download the games. You put it on your hard drive, so when you're not, they learned that mistake from Don Matrick and the always online 24-hour check-in.
I don't know how they're going to do it without the always online 24-hour check-in, because how are they going to prevent you from hacksoring the game? Like how are they going to stop
That
you from
is
doing
true. I'm sure. Well, I mean, you have to download the game, so there does have to be some type of
it? Online check-in.
quick check.
Also, DRM is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have to do weird stuff like change the date and time on your console and other crazy stuff like that to extend your time with the game. Because I'm like, if a game's only up there for a month and your internal clock chip says, "Oh, it's been a month," I'm sure it's set to go erase from hard drive.
Right.
Never see it again.
Right. Well, you also have to look at it from Microsoft's point of view in regards to GameStop. You know what I mean? A lot of this was to curb GameStop used game sales. So they would rather have you do this and hacksaw the game, you know what I mean, and figure out a way to round their DRM situation than go to GameStop where they're insured to not make any money off of a used game purchase. They were like, no, you go ahead and give us the $10. We'll take $10 over zero any day of the week.
We've talked about GameStop in previous episodes, so especially when the Circle of Life stuff came out.
And even then, if you're hacksoring the game to prevent the game from leaving, you're probably not you're probably not ending your subscription. So
right.
Even though you're like, oh, that game's no longer available, I'm just going to make sure I just don't log in. You're still paying $10 a month for
I think
that game.
I think it's going to offer a lot of great value. I think also one of the catches, and I want to see it when it launches, is going to be the game library. It's very cool that you have some more recent games, but if most of those games, and this is my opinion, if most of those games are all like older back compatible games, I do not think it's going to do as. I think it'll be on par, maybe do about the same as PlayStation Now, because that's what PlayStation Now is. Mm-hmm. You throw some of those newer games in, one of the bigger ones being Halo 5 Guardians, but maybe Sunset Overdrive is a really good game,
It
and
is.
having that on the service would be really cool. Some of the other, if they get Quantum Break, which is a Xbox exclusive, and a few other, like, maybe, I'm not gonna say older, but like a year or so games that are probably $20 now that you can put on the service, and you put on the service, you get to play it for however long for $9.99. If you want to purchase it, it's $20, and you'll get like a 20% discount. You still make out like a bandit, especially for some of those games like that. But if it's all like we have Halo 5 Guardians and then we have Xbox 360 back compat games, no, I don't think that will be the case. But that's not going to do well.
If it's only Xbox 360 back and back games, I'm sorry, I already have Red Dead. You can move on.
Man, right?
But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it's a great service. I think it's going to be a great value for Xbox owners. I'm interested to see if there are games that maybe I wanted to check out. Of course, they will have to wait until I finish beating Zelda and Horizon and Mass Effect
And Ghost Recon.
oh, man, and Nier Automata. Jesus.
March is too good. Stop.
Can we be done with March yet?
Oh my god.
Anything else as far like I guess one question we didn't ask or we didn't answer is how do you guys think that it'll play into the Scorpio? Because I'm sure that this is a service, knowing Microsoft, that they're going to be like, hey, if you get a Scorpio, you're still going to be able to access your Xbox Game Pass games. No problem.
Well, because the Scorpio is still going to play all the OG Xbox One games, so...
Dude, I mean, like, if the Scorpio is going to be $599, of like in terms of price, if it's going to be like a premium console price, yeah, I'm going to stick on that $9.99 to have like the ability to play some games before I have the chance to actually purchase.
Do you think this could be, asking this question, I see some correlations between maybe the Scorpio and the Game Pass comparatively to the Nintendo Switch and the Virtual Console, and the fact that the Virtual Console wasn't on the Switch at launch and people kind of was in a kerfluffle about it. But do you think that that'll provide more value? Do you think does it matter either way? If Microsoft comes out and says, hey, guess what, Scorpio's coming on this date. If you're a Game Pass subscriber, guess what, you'll already have access to over 100 games. If you have Halo 5 Guardians, guess what, you'll get 4K and 60 frames and all of this stuff on the Scorpio right at launch.
It won't be true 4K. It'll be 4K. Because unless they are dropping a big 1080 Ti in there.
Apparently it is, quote, the most powerful console in gaming.
I'll believe it when I see the specs.
Yep.
Because they said that about the PS4 Pro.
Well, technically the PS4 Pro is, quote, the most powerful console on the market right now until the Scorpio comes out.
Yeah.
But even then, like, for all this stuff, people say it's not true 4K. Guess what? My eyes don't care when I plug it up to the TV and I got the 2160p icon over in the top right corner saying, "Hey, you're ready to go." But no, I think it'll be a good strategy, especially for Scorpio. I think this is part of a calculated move to prepare for Scorpio and prepare for the big announcement at E3, as well as kind of like that 6-month period before the holidays when the consoles are released. I think if this also has me slightly concerned, and the reason I asked the question about like comparing it to Nintendo and the Virtual Console debacle is it makes me curious if they're offering this because they may not have a lot of games at launch. It may be a same case as with the PS4 Pro where, hey, we've got a couple of developers that the Xbox One games are going to add a patch and you'll be able to get 4K support. Middle Earth, Shadow of War. If you, the Xbox Play Anywhere game, if you get it for that, you'll be able to get it on Scorpio, and it has been confirmed that it's going to support Scorpio and 4K and all that stuff when it comes out. So that's cool, but I think that's probably what we're going to see the first couple of months, which isn't bad. I don't think that's wrong at all. Like, you have to give those devs time to use the console, but I also think that it may be a similar case with some people as far as the Switch is concerned, as compared to the Scorpio, is that, hey, I'm going to wait a little bit until I actually have some games that are going to take full advantage of the Scorpio. I mean, you think about it, Horizon Zero Dawn was really the first true game to take full advantage of the PS4 Pro and some of the like 4K checkerboarding stuff that it's doing there, and it looks fucking great. It looks delicious. Oh, it's delicious.
I actually have to see what that game looks like in a moment because I haven't seen it.
We'll talk after
Awesome.
the podcast.
I've actually just been playing mine in boost mode.
Mine favors resolution, and it looks fucking great.
Well, I don't have a 4K TV, so
I don't
boost
either.
mode it is.
You guys got to come over.
You go for it.
I have 2.
We're coming over.
They're bringing PS4 Pros.
Next week's episode will
It's
be
raining PS4 Pros in my house.
No, yeah, I'm really excited to get a 4K TV and see Horizon Zero Dawn on there. But if any other final thoughts on the Game Pass? For all of us who have Xbox Ones, are we considering purchasing the Game Pass
No.
when it comes out?
No.
I don't have an Xbox One. I have a PC because I built a PC.
Because
Yeah.
Xbox other platforms.
Because
Yeah.
do you really need to name all of the reasons? I think we all know.
For we are mighty.
Our power is maximum.
I want to see what the games are before and I think if I get it, I might try it to see just how it works. I think it'd be cool to try. But I don't have PS Now. Everybody, all the listeners know I'm the big PlayStation guy. I don't have a PS Now account.
Me neither.
And I don't think I'll stick with an Xbox Game Pass. No.
I won't have either. Because my internet is trash.
I'm so sorry that you're living in the boonies with your 3 meg down and your...
It was actually 2.5 the other day.
Oh, wow!
Solid.
Like,
Solid.
People, listeners,
0.6 up.
take advantage of what you have. There are people in this world who don't have the fast gigabit internet that you have, so appreciate it.
Every time I come into work, I'm like, should I bring the console to download a game today? I've
The
done
answer
that.
should always be yes.
That's why I started playing more computer games.
There you go. It makes it easy. But other than that, guys, thank you so much. This has been episode 57 of the Rocket Punch Cast. Great conversations. Hope you guys enjoyed listening. Before we even leave, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us.
Thank you. That's what it's all about. Thank
coming
you
in
for
and-
having me on. It's been a blast.
Oh yeah, we've had fun and great conversations, great talk, great different perspectives, and I always like that when we talk about stuff. Real quick before we go, any final plugs? Where do you want to? Where can people find your content? Where can they go?
Right. Well, we're actually pushing toward 100 subscribers on YouTube right now. So we don't actually have like an official YouTube web address. So you just got to go to YouTube, search Credible Threat Gaming. We have a giveaway going on. So every 10 subscribers, we're giving out free Steam keys. So, you guys could win some stuff out there. There's a whole video on it, so just check it out on YouTube. And then, like I said, Facebook.com/Credible Threat Gaming, Twitter @RealCTGaming. We're also on Twitch, and then the only real consistent one that I can say that we have is Twitch.tv/Credible Threat Gaming on Thursday nights, Tetrad Thursday.
Okay, cool. And like you guys have just started, you've been out there for a couple of months, so of course building.
Oh, it's a hustle.
we at Rock Punch know what you're talking about. But as you're checking out Credible Threat Gaming, if you still want some more awesome stuff, of course, go to rocketpunchgo.com. So we're going to find all of our videos. We've got probably this week, you'll definitely see a lot of Switch-themed games that we grabbed for Rocket Punch Plays. Really exciting.
Because why not, baby? We got a new console.
Yeah, we got to show them off. There's one that's coming soon that I'm really excited for people to at least see. I haven't seen many videos on it, and I want people to see the game. It's really fun. And as always, as I said earlier, you definitely check out our other content like Creator Spotlight. We had Jay Burton on there and Redco Comics. If you want to learn more about what goes behind the scenes as far as publishing a comic goes and the work entails into that, go listen to that on that podcast feed. Tank and Spank, our Blizzard podcast, always check that out. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And of course, shameless plug, go if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/rocketpunch. Even $1 a day gets you a cool little wallpaper pack. And depending on what you donate, you'll get these awesome prizes, physical goodies, digital bonus episodes that you can definitely listen to that will not be found anywhere else other than on our Patreon page. So definitely go check that out. But other than that, guys, once again, that was episode 57 of the Rocket Punch Cast. We appreciate all of our listeners out there. And until next time, farewell.